Hey guys, welcome back. We had a good day in the market. It's September 10th. It is Wednesday, hump day. Thanks for being here. I'm going to review 0-day options today on SPY. I took small account challenge. We had, PPI I think this morning? So, favorable. Market liked it. It already had a gap up going on and then PPI came out. I think it was PPI. CPI tomorrow. So gap up. Big gap up today. Not big, but all-time high gap up and gap trap. That is usually what's on the menu. And today there actually did end up being some trades. This morning was quite mean for trading. The market wasn't playing nice for the most part. Let's review this mess. Yeah, so I was here for the morning. Started charting. I think gold was my first one. Oddly, maybe usually it's purple. Usually it's in this certain order. I think, yeah, Eric has like different reasons for each of his colors. I don't. I'm not that technical yet. So purple for me at this point was aggressive buying. And then gold was next right there. This white, oh, that's much later. Gold and then red. Yeah, I moved them around quite a bit today just because today was kind of grindy, so it was kind of difficult for me to see what was going on as well as some days. Then green there. So those basically what I found this morning the first 30 minutes. I considered, so I could have gotten trades here for the support. It was a tight range and I was fine not to do any of that because yeah, anyways, rallied up and then actually, this is maybe when I got green. Yeah, so it broke the green and kind of found it as support. Kind of had his little channel up here. And then kind of came back in it, and I didn't take a first trade for a while. Came back down here, bounced on green. Okay, yeah, now I'm starting to remember. So we've got liquidity up here, liquidity here. We're in a bullish trend. And on the 30-minute, we're in an uptrend. It was a gap up. Doesn't always mean you're just going to sell off. Oftentimes it does kind of this liquidity building and won't just keep ripping. Sometimes it'll just completely reject the area, but yeah, today was more liquidity building than anything. So yeah, I think it was right about in there on the small account. Let's see. Yep. So I got this was a retracement trade. Basically calls it support more or less with support on the 30-minute showing we're in an uptrend still. Liquidity up here, a rejection of this liquidity, and then a break of my gold here. So could have gotten it a little sooner. Maybe did I get this on the big account? I can't even remember. I don't think I did. I think I was just trading a little account for a while. Yeah. So didn't get it here because my green was also, I think I maybe adjusted a little bit, so it was a little conflicting, but yeah, I ended up getting it on the break here of gold, for this being the inverse head, for this being the shoulder, with my stop being green. So by the time I broke gold, it was a little ways from my stop. Would have been nice to close it down here, or open it there, but wanted to be careful as this could have just crushed through. It did end up just going through, but that's kind of the nature of these trades. You're trying to just do a retracement or trading in a wedge. Basically, we have a wedge here, and trading in the wedge, you're trying to catch the top or bottom and not necessarily the breakout or the retrace. So this is the nature of the trade, and this was the first trade, and this was the right idea, but it was still a red trade, which is kind of unfortunate. Yeah, I guess I could do break. I don't know. So I'm fine if it's not buying this, but maybe I need to be more picky. This was the only buying channel I had even all day today. I know Emperor I think had some other ones and stuff. Eric probably did too. Yeah, actually Eric and Emperor's charts didn't line up. I was looking at them later in the day and it's interesting. So I guess Emperor is completely charting his own. So we all had conflicting charts today. They lined up on some of them, but it was kind of interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen Eric and Emperor's so different. So yeah, this went up a little bit. I mean, it was very small. I didn't have this white in here at that point or that gold. So I was looking for at least this to take profit if it started to show resistance. or Hive Day. Of course, it broke that. It didn't, it grinded, so I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to respect my stop on green and just hold it. Got a little more green here, and it did end up coming down to here. So I closed it on this candle. Yeah, so it went from 31 cents to 26 cents. Not a terrible stop. It was quite a bit of holding for it to then just do that. And I consider just closing it, but when you are taking it in the wedge trade, it can just build liquidity. It can dance around for a bit. It doesn't mean it's just going to rip back up to the top of the wedge. And in this case, it wasn't even, yeah, it didn't even ever make it up there and end up just breaking. So yeah, that was first red trade. And then next trade was a put. And wouldn't you know it, it was right there. Wait. Yeah, right on that candle. So since it broke my green, I'm like, all right, I should get in puts. We've got a head, a shoulder, it's breaking green. This is what I was waiting for. And so, yep, got into it. Got kind of a nasty fill on it. Did a big green, ended up green, then came back down. I think I held through that. And since maybe this had a little recency effect for me, I'm not sure, but the selling was just so weak. So once it broke here, I was kind of hoping for more aggressive selling, volume to pick up, and it to kind of make the inverse cup a little quicker. Came down, and it was just like, I opened it, it's just kind of grinding there. I'm like, this isn't good, because really my stop is breaking back up into this green, you know, a retrace. I have to hold through a retrace because it very well could, and sure enough, next candle it did. And I'm like, let's see, when did I even close this thing? Yeah, so it did, and I almost thought about opening some up on the big account once it retraced, but I didn't. And then I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, I don't know if I had this one at that point. Maybe I did. Then I'm thinking it can grind up this green all the way to here. I don't want any part of that. So it came down. Where did I sell this thing? Yeah, basically I didn't catch this move, unfortunately. So first move I was right, it went up after I bought it. Second move I was right, it went down after I bought it. Second move though, with single contracts, it's just, in this small of account, it's just hard to manage my risks if it's not more aggressive. So this was 51, let's see. Came down, was then just grinding on this one. And then I'm like, all right, well, because I'd already broken my gold here, right here, and I held through it, rejected that. I'm like, that's good. I'm like, all right, well, if it breaks this gold, because I wanted to sell at least in this gold, I'm like, I'll just get out of this thing because it's not selling strong enough. Because at this point, I'm thinking if it breaks this gold, it could retest this green, and I don't want to be any part of that. So I actually sold on this green candle, and that was also a loss. Let's see, so 42 cents to 39, not terrible since it did come down some. Yeah, I think my thought process is right on this. If I had a better fill, of course, it would have been easier. It's always easier if you have a nice fill. The only thing I could see is right here on this retrace. That would have been a nice fill. I don't see why I'd have gotten in here in the wedge. I don't think that would have been good, at least with my drawings. But on this retrace, then I would have been able to manage a little bit easier. You know, I would have been green this whole way down. And maybe I would have had more patience to wait for it to get aggressive selling, which is what we got right here. Finally, a little aggressive selling for the last little cup close. So honestly, I probably wouldn't have held till down here or here. I probably would have sold on this candle right here, which still would have been nice. I did watch this. These went up like 30% or something, but yeah. So 2 red trades. I'm like, oh man, I had both of them were right. I just wasn't able to make them green. And in those instances, I can just, if it's going slow or whatever, I can just do a break even stop. But again, on small account, break even stops, you're going to keep getting stopped out so much. You're just going to run out of trades. And so that's why sometimes if it's middle of the day or like not my most comfortable setup, I'll just use it on the big account and just do a quick stop. Anyways, next one was actually, I think I caught, let me see where this one, yeah. So this came down, completed the inverse cup. And what do we got here? Is that really? Oh yeah, I got shaken out there. On the big account, I actually got in right. Yeah, it was such an ugly fill. I clicked it and it went and flushed. I had different lines around here. I had my green, and I think I maybe glanced at embers. I'm not sure. I've deleted a couple of them, but we've got nice little head and shoulders here. I didn't realize there was this big tapering bullish control, this gold one, and I was looking at the gap fill, which was right here. So I thought this was just a little handle that was being built, and I couldn't have gotten a better entry because for my lines this was not any resistance. This was just a little pump up handle. So yeah, entering here had to be a quick stop, and I think it was, yeah, 11:32, not that quick, 32 to 37. I got it here. Yeah, so you can see why. Yeah, so my stop was up here on this red, which looking at it now, it doesn't even look like a very good, I don't even know if this is very accurate. Could have stopped that one sooner. Definitely should have, since this was kind of a chase. It wasn't a chase, but you know, it was a breakout. But I need to have tighter stops on it. Yeah. Next trade, I'll just show you. There's only a few on the big accounts. I'll just show you these. Also, it was 11:57. Oh yeah, this one. This is kind of annoying. So it came down, red on both accounts at this point. I'm like, I just need to chill. Ended up making this bounce. Considered a retracement trade, but I didn't know how to manage my risk for this, so I just let it go. Came up here, broke my red. Retrace, bounced on it. I'm like, oh, I kind of missed that, but I wasn't super confident in this red one. Ended up coming up here. At this point, I was kind of looking at Emperors, I think, a little bit, and this also broke out of his channels. I don't know if I put in that gold at that point, but came up here, and I'm thinking this still could be a handle. I still think it could close that cup, or the gap fill, rather. What time was that at, though? Okay, yeah, so I did get in here. With, I think, orange as my stop, or maybe potentially I had white in there by that point. So I got it on this green candle. Let me see. Let me check Emperors really quick. Yeah, I don't think I was actually... No, I wasn't looking at his chart yet. I didn't see his. So this was for the head and the shoulder and white. I'm trying to think if there's other analysis. Maybe I had gold in it there at that point. Yeah, because I had it as supports. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Gold's going to actually be my stop. So a little ways from the stop by that point, but and I put an orange there for even tighter. It did start selling, and I'm at this point I'm not paying too much attention. I'm just kind of like, I'm just going to set an alert, and just try and hold these things and not mess with it, and hopefully it'll just work out and I won't have to get stopped out or whatever. So with that, I just end up putting break even. These did go up like 30% in this area, and I don't think I took any profit on them. No, yeah, which is kind of too bad. 57 to 20, yeah, wait, 3 minutes? Wait, what? That's crazy, actually. I must have gotten a bad fill. Yeah, it stopped like right away. 11:57 to 12. I thought it made it down here. Oh, yeah, these were up. Maybe it was a later trade. We'll see. One of these was up like a pretty good amount. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was like 20 something percent. I don't know. It was like 250, maybe, yeah, like around 250 bucks. I remember seeing. I'm like, I should take some profits, but I just kind of wanted to leave him as a runner. I can't quite remember that. But yeah, anyways, this green candle, I guess, stopped it out, which is kind of strange. Just this little green candle. Anyways, did end up coming down, retesting the white, which could have been another entry. This would have been a nice trade. Let me see what I did, though. Yeah, I didn't do anything then. Okay. Next trade was on the little account. Came down. I was getting more confirmation of gold right here. Bounced, and just kind of in the middle of a wedge at this point. And then, for no reason that I can tell, 1 o'clock, just after 1:02, and we get this fat green candle with tons of volume. Like, what the heck? And it just so happened to hit like right on my white line as resistance. Was it white then? feel like I erased a lot of stuff because it was at, oh, maybe it was just my gold. Yeah, it was the gold. Hit gold right at resistance. It was at VWAP, and so I was like, you know, I think I should get puts here again because we're still trending down. We've completed the inverse cup. We've made a handle. Kind of made another inverse cup. You know, could just keep making handles. I had the gold at that point. I'm like, this is a nice entry with a pretty tight stop there at gold. With risk to reward would be great. So I did get in there on the small account at 103. I got too far out of the money, I think, on this one. I got 651. I think I had it queued up from before for the gap fill. Yeah, that's what it was. Because there's a gap fill at 650, 84. So I had 651. I want to be in the money before my profit target. And so I had it queued up, and this happened quick, and I was like, oh, I need to quick get it. And so I just sent it and didn't realize this one was far out of the money. So it was a little unfortunate. It was only 13 cents. 103, I opened it, and then it was still kind of dancing up here and looked kind of sketchy, and this thing wicked me out right here. I don't know why. Well, gold's a little different now. It was lower then for whatever reason. And this candle was well above it, and I don't know. Also, the strike was out, like not in the right place, so I was like, I'm just going to close this thing. So I did end up closing the put right there. It's like crazy to see in hindsight, but I really wasn't sure what this was. I was looking around for news to see if there was something that had legs that would keep it going, but I couldn't see anything, and I still wasn't sure. So yeah, it's too bad it did close down, because I would have been sick 200% probably, because it was far enough out of the money also. However, after I closed that, I'm like, shoot, maybe I shouldn't have closed that, or maybe I should open another one different strike, but I don't have a whole lot of buying power, and this and this and this. But anyways, that's where my backup comes in. So I bought it on the big account, and this was the trade that set my big account off today. 106. I got 3 of them. I'm looking at a strike. I think, was I looking for gap fill? 65.35. No, so this was low of, oh wow. Yeah, that was for a target of low of day. What time did I say? 106. Yeah, so this one I got on that candle with a stop of really gold, but white is fine too. I mean, it shouldn't be messing around up there too much, I wouldn't think. Especially with how easy this one went up. Usually it's easy down. It wasn't necessarily an easy down. It definitely grinded for a bit. So I held that one. I was thinking my first profit target would be potentially this green, and then gold, and then maybe 5-day. I'm always more ambitious with my profit targets than I actually do. Especially after I just made that mistake over here where I just let it stop out, and then I also just closed that one. So I'm like, I gotta actually take profits, which was a good thing. I'm glad I did. So first profit on that one was 270. First one was 420 at 119. So I was a little front run on this one. It was on this red candle. Reason for it being this white, I was thinking this could have flipped into support. You know, it hadn't broken green yet, and it hadn't, you know, so I thought this very well still could be an inverse head and shoulder and retesting down here. So yeah, that was my thinking on that. So I took the first one right there, and then I was looking at orange for resistance, and then it kept coming down. I had two left then. Let's see. Yeah, so one at 420 at 119, and then one at 550 at 124. So I held the next one quite a bit. Yeah, this one had a nice slippage candle, and I didn't want to take it on it because I wanted to try and hold out to at least low a day or gold, but I ended up getting on this one, so not the best exit. I think this was because of Emperor, so I think I was looking at his chart at that point to try and figure out good exits. Yeah, I'm not sure if he changes or not. I don't know. Yeah, because on his, I think I was maybe thinking it's bouncing on his magenta potentially. That's why I closed it there. I don't know. I'm not positive. positive. But the percentages were there for sure. 270, 420, then 550 was that one, and then last one was 700. So that's over 100% on that last one. Could have been nice to hold another one, but that's all right. And that one was at, I think this was a great exit. I think, yes, it was on this green candle. Wasn't on the red, unfortunately. It was real low on this green one though, so wasn't too bad. There was a little more slippage maybe on some of these that would have helped, but part of the reason was, big reason was this gold right here. The gap wasn't getting filled right then, it didn't seem like. So yeah, that's why I cut my last one right there. And yeah, then the account was, you know, it was a nice average day on the average green day on the big account. And then let's see, that was 132. Okay, yeah. And then I still actually had quite a bit of buying power on the big account, or in the little account. I'm used to it having a little more money in it now. Just from these last few green days. So then, yeah, then I guess the next trade was on this little account, or the big account, sorry. It was a red trade. Yeah, 280 at 229. But 229. Oh yeah, I remember this one. So this was a retrace trade. Oh yeah, so it broke this gold. So basically the bullish controlled selling here was broken, and typically you're going to see increased volume. It's triggering stops, and it kind of did a little bit, but yeah, just didn't quite play out. Came up, retraced. I wanted to get that entry and I missed it. I actually tried to order it and one of my settings wasn't right, and so it like had an error. I didn't get it there, and then it came up and I did end up getting it. What did I say? 132. Yeah, I got it right here. Kind of low on that red candle. And the whole point just being a retracement. So I don't usually do those trades that much. I feel like maybe when they work, it's much faster. It's like this, and then it kind of keeps flushing. The fact that it did this and then kind of came down, then didn't, maybe it was a good sign not to take it, but I don't know, got it there, and I think I jumped out of it pretty much on the next candle. Let's see, 132. Wait, no. 229. What am I doing? Oh yeah, that's 229, never mind. It was on this candle. Okay, yeah. 229. And then I closed out, I think, on that 33. 32, okay. So actually on this candle I closed it. Weird. Didn't even quite break. I think on Emperor's, yeah, like I said, I was looking at Emperor's at that point. I think on Emperor's this broke one of his channels. So got out of the put there, and oh yeah, and the next one I got out at 232. Oh, that's right, I just reduced some risk. So it hadn't broken it, but I was like, I'm gonna reduce some of my risk here. So I closed one here for a little less of a loss, and then closed the other two once it broke that. So glad I got out of that first one before it went more negative like the other ones. And then I was done on the big account and happy to give back too many gains. And the little account still had quite a bit of buying power. So I'm like, well, what do we got in store? Kind of wedgy down here. It broke it, lack of continuation. Gap still hadn't been filled though. I'm like, okay. So a bigger retrace would have been nice. It didn't make it all up to resistance where I would have been like comfortable going short. Like if it made up to white, maybe, and maybe on Emperor or Eric's chart it would have made it. Maybe it's a resistance here. I think it was, but I'm not as confident when I'm looking at other people's lines. So I don't think I got it there. I don't even think I caught this trade. No, let's see. 306? Where did I do this? Yeah, so I didn't get it there. Oh yeah, this one, that's right. So I got it on this candle. Oh, this was such a bad fill. So like it just broke in here, and I was kind of trying to wait a little bit to see if it's going to wick out of there. I didn't want to fully wait for the candle to close necessarily, because it could have just done this. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to click it, and like clicking it, and it did this. And so I'm sure I got filled down here. So ugly fill on that. Basically buying puts at low of day. I'm like, oh gosh. But it did break the green, and that was kind of my confidence to go short on it, and the little head and shoulders down here. So held through this. End of day, it's just more stressful for sure. So sizing down, especially if you have profits, like it's a little easier, but you don't, just, yeah. So that was 37 cents. Held through that trash. It came down, it came down, it came down. I had this line here. This is just above, this is basically just above the gap fill. And I put it in as, with an alert, with the bell, as take profit. I thought this actually was a gap fill, but then looking at my other chart, it technically wasn't. And actually SPX didn't even fill the gap, only SPY did. So came here, I was like, it was a nice green up here. I don't even remember what it went to, but I didn't close it here, even though some of my alerts went off. I got too technical with it. No, I didn't. Well, whatever. This candle came and I closed on that one. I was like, I wish I just got the good slippage on the other one. It actually said I closed it here. What? Oh, maybe I did. Yeah, because I think I was trying to wait to see if this one was going to retrace at all, and the candle just full bodied up into it. Yeah, so my fill was, that would have been significant. I think it was another like 20 bucks. It was 43. I think it was almost to 80. It was to 80 something, and I closed it at 73. So 10, 20, 10, 15, 20% more if I just got it on a better slippage. Which, yeah, that's just a lesson in greed. I should have just closed it, because I even had a bell. You kind of want to close it just before your profit target. Typically, I was getting technical and saying the gaps actually needs to fill. It did end up filling. The reason why I closed it here also was because Emperor's chart. Shout out to him. I mean, it's helpful. Anyways, yeah, on Emperor's chart he had the more aggressive, and that was that closing above that. So I'm like, that's a good one. I'll take it on that. My aggressive selling was orange, which was too far away. I didn't want to wait for all this, and I would have ended up closing it anyways with that one. So if I had like more again, that would have been easier. Could have closed one on that good slippage and then held one maybe, or the actual gap fill. But it was a nice exit. It's just I wish I exited on that slippage. I don't even care that I missed this. This one I'm a little greedy. So I was like, all right, I still had buying power for another one, which is awesome. And hanging out down here, I kind of got a little distracted with stuff, and this was just happening so fast. And then it started rallying. I'm like, oh, I guess I could have gotten calls down here at, at support for potential to VWAP. And it was like up here. I'm like, I don't want to get it just right here in the middle of the range when it's big green candles. So I mean, ideally I'm like, well, I guess I'll wait for it to break here, up here. And yeah, I guess I could have chased it, but then anyways. So I waited and just watched all this. I'm like, oh my goodness. And then it comes up here, starts showing resistance on my white. And then it's like 45. It's 4 or 5 minutes to 10-minute move. I'm like, well, I should be careful and not open just before the 10-minute like I did yesterday, and it went the wrong way. So I didn't, even though I thought I was going to go up here. I guess not necessarily because I hadn't broken the white, but it likes to find safety oftentimes. Lacking continuation was a good sign of that. But then once it broke, and then it was right here, so it's 49, and then literally this is the 10-minute candle. It's can't make it up, and it just went boop. I'm like, oh, yep, this would have been a good time to enter before, but that's okay. I kind of hung out, but I definitely didn't want to wait too long because this could have easily just gone up there and then kept going. So I think I got it actually on that candle. This one's actually a sick trade. It was very stressful. Very stressful. Yeah, I got it on this candle somewhere in here. And then it just does this, and I'm like a little red, but it wasn't an awful fill. A little green, basically break even. And it was a 650, 652. So it was still, I think it was still kind of, oh, it was in the money, just barely. Anyways, from here it was basically 0%. And just flickering back and forth between like whatever 10% and nothing. And I'm like, I gotta wait for VWAP, so whatever the 10-minute moves are always so stressful for me for some reason. I don't know, I just get so anxious end of day. So it finally grinded up, and I literally closed it right there. 357. Nailed it on VWAP. So that was 43 cents to 73 cents. There's the small account. Went from red to green today. I was down, well, I don't know, whatever that green is. It's 30 bucks. So I wasn't down a whole lot. I was down like $10 before that last trade, and flipped it to green. So I'm pumped because today was a grind day. Account's back over 200 bucks. It was a grind day today for sure. And so kind of I mean, there were some nice moves though. The morning was ugly, but all of these mutual interest trades and retracement trades ended up being nice. Just identifying the chart and having the confidence to go in and respecting your stops. Thanks for watching, guys. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy Money 6 round. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.